The knee joint is the biggest bone in your body. This is a quote from the article Knee Joint Function and Anatomy by Cleveland Clinics. Since we use our knees thousands of times each day, credibility was easy to find on the U of M library. In my speech today, I will be talking about the ligaments, the muscles, the bones, the joints, and the cartilage in the knee and what each part does. First, I will talk about the ligaments in the knee and what each part does. In the book, Examination of Orthopedic and Athletic Injuries, 4th edition, the authors Chad Starkey and Sarah Brown state the ACL serves as the static stabilizer against anterior, external, internal, and hyperextension of the tibia on page 303. The MCL primarily acts to protect the knee against valgus forces. This is also a quote by Starkey and Brown on page 304. The MCL primarily restrains against various forces when the knee is in range between full extension and 30 degrees. This is also a quote by Starkey and Brown on page 303. The PCL primarily restrains against posterior displacement to the tibia on the femur and secondary restraint against external tibia rotation. This is also a quote from Starkey and Brown on page 304. It doesn't show in the pictures, but the ACL and MCL are an X-shaped ligament that go behind the knee, and then the PCL and LCL are on the outer sides of the knee, so on the sides. Next, I will talk about the cartilage in the knee. In the article Cartilage of the Knee, Anatomy, Function, and Recent Conservative Treatments by Yao Ding, he states, cartilage plays a vital role in the knee joint function by enabling smooth movement and absorbing stress. This is on page 1305. Articular cartilage, which is the one on the way right, acts as a low friction lubricant, allowing the bones to move easily against each other. This is like right under there. And then the medial meniscus acts as the shock absorber and stabilizes. It shows it on the picture, the outer part. And then the lateral meniscus provides cushioning and aids the smooth joint movement, which is the inner, which is like webbing. I will now tell you about the joints in the knee. In the article, Biomechanical Analysis of the Knee, Primary Functions elucidated by Anatomy, William D. McLeod and Stuart Hunter state, the patellofemoral joint is unique in that it protects the body's other joints by the way it distributes shock of the knee. This is also kind of like the meniscus, but except for it distributes the shock, and if we didn't have that, a lot of shock on one joint would be pretty bad. The tibial-femoral joint allows the extension and flexion of the knee, and also the meniscus absorbs the shock and cushioning, which is also helped by the cartilage of that. Now I will tell you about the bones considered to be in the knee. The femur, which is the biggest bone in the body, connects your knee to your hip and is the major, the upper joint of the knee. The femur connects the tibia connects the knee to the ankle, which is the main weight-bearing bone, as well as it being the lower joint of that. The patella protects the knee and improves function of the quad. This is that tiny bone that's a triangle shaped above your knee, and the fibula provides attachment points for the ligament and muscles, as well as it also stabilizes the ankle joint and also used for stability on the knee. Lastly, I will talk about the muscles connected to the knee. In the article, Postlateral Aspects and Stability of the Knee Joint, 1st edition, Anatomy and Function of the Popliteus Muscle Tendon Unit, an Anatomical and Biochemical Study, Karen Ulrich et al. States the popliteus muscle plays a key role in unlocking the knee from full extension and contributes postlateral stability on page 86. The quads straighten the leg and contain four muscles called the vetus lataris, intermedius, medialis, and rectus formis. The hamstrings bend the knee and contain three muscles, the bicep formis, the semimedius, and semibrachius. The middle one, the popliteus, it goes behind the knee, as it shows in the picture, it goes behind the knee and stops it from moving outward. In this speech, I told you about every part of the knee and what those specific parts do to help us do everyday normal tasks. Now that you know the anatomy of the knee, think about the complex, simple tasks like how complex a simple task like walking is. Thank you for listening to my speech.